Fortnite OG is here, and that means we've been transported to the past. As we follow the story of Jones trapped within a time paradox, secrets about the past and the future collide, leading to a mysterious Big Bang that leads us to Chapter 5. We have a lot to discuss, so consider using code TLLTheReaper in the item shop if you'd like to support me, and without further ado, let's dive into the time loop. Last season ended with Kato Thorne's time machine being successfully heisted by Nolan Chance's crew and arriving to Frenzy Fields for Slone to carry out her plans. When she finally got her hands on the time machine, she began to test it to see how it works. The result was several props from Chapter 1 Season 5 zapping into the surrounding areas. This was because Kato had his time machine locked on to July 12, 2018. Shortly after seeing how it worked, Jones arrived to the Chapter 4 island. Turns out, he's been floating on that one chunk of rock in space since Fracture, and he only just now landed. He immediately speaks to Slone, and it seems that they're on better terms. Jones is willing to help her with her plan. Within the next week, Jones appears standing next to the time machine, and shortly after, both him and the time machine disappear, along with all of the Season 5 props. This led us to believe that Slone sent Jones back in time to carry out her plan, and that's actually correct. Fortnite OG launched soon after, and we can see that the time machine is sitting at Pleasant Park, with an audio log right next to it, left by Slone. Let's break it down. She starts off with Jones, Slone here. You know when and where you are, and that means you know what you have to do, and what will happen on this side when you're done. Tomorrow, you take the time machine back, and tonight, I'm recording this. It occurs to me that I've never sent a message through time, so you might want to check back. Everything you do will ripple forward to this very moment. This might not even be the first time I've recorded this message. Do the job, Jones. It has to be done. Right off the bat, we have some extremely interesting lore for this season. This tape was recorded sometime last week, the night before she sent Jones to go back with the time machine. A very important thing to note is that she warns him of a ripple effect that may occur if he does something wrong. This is called the butterfly effect. If he changes just one little thing in the past, that can ripple through time and create enormous changes, possibly even altering the future entirely. So Jones has to be careful. Whatever he's back to do, he has to be calculated, or it could result in changing everything. Slone also mentions that this log may not be the first time she's recorded this message. This is a massive key to unlocking the storyline of this season, so remember this piece of dialogue as we go forward. Currently, this is the only log on the island, but the next 3 logs that will release each week of this season are already leaked. Make sure to stick till the end and leave a like on the video if you're enjoying it. Moving on to log 2, she starts it off the exact same way. Jones, Slone here. I feel like I've done this before, so let's assume I have, unless this is deja vu. Alright, short version. You're back here for a reason. You're smart enough to figure it out. And it's not to change the future, by the way, so drop that fantasy right now. This is an extraction, and you're leading the way. You cannot hesitate in your duty, Jones. The world you're leaving is one of many, and there are more worlds than even you can imagine. Keep it that way. Do the job. This log is extremely revealing. Slone begins by saying she feels like she's already recorded this, so she assumes she has and makes her message quick. This means that she has no previous memory of already sending Jones an audio log, but how is that even possible? Well, this actually means that Jones failed. He altered the wrong thing in the past, and the butterfly effect took hold, rippling changes all the way down the timeline until the future was rewritten, branching everything off into a brand new timeline. I know that is extremely confusing, so let me try and explain this better. Last week, Jones took the time machine back. While trying to carry out Slone's plans, he accidentally changed the wrong thing, resulting in the events of Chapter 1 carrying out differently. And as a result, everything begins to go different too. Chapter 2, Chapter 3, leading all the way up to the present in Chapter 4. This automatically rewrites the timeline into something new, a brand new string of events that took place since Jones changed the past. In this brand new timeline, Slone and Jones once again prepare to use the time machine. The night before she sends him out, she records a log and has a strange feeling that she's already done this before. So, as you can see, Jones changing something in the past results in the timeline changing, and therefore, a new log from Slone. We'll get more into why the time machine is a pivotal moment in the story soon. Now that we've discussed why she has no memories of recording the first log, we can continue. She also mentions to Jones that he is not back in the past to change the future. He's there on an extraction mission. Now, while I'd love to tell you all what exactly she wants him to retrieve, we have absolutely no idea. It's very difficult to tell at the moment since even future map changes don't reveal much to us. All we do know though is that it seems she's staying true to Optimus Prime's message in Season 3.
The key to your future lies in the past.
The key to the future lies in the past. She sent Jones to go back and get that, whatever it is. Lastly, she mentions that there's more worlds than even he could imagine, and he needs to keep it that way. These lines imply that whatever key he's trying to find is actually the key to keeping every world alive. This leads us to two options. The key is either going to help fix the petrified 0 point, or it's going to help us defeat the last reality, a faction that would very well take pride in destroying every world. That audio log was absolutely packed, but we still have 2 more to go. The third log once again starts off the same as the previous 2. Jones, Slone here. This is not my first message, is it? You must be making progress, or you're screwing everything up. If you somehow end up back in the now, I will destroy this reality out of spite. Not that that would stop you from somehow bumbling back into my orbit. There's a reason why it's always you and me, time and time again. One of these times, we're gonna get it right, and I'm pretty sure this is it. It's clear that Jones messes up again, resulting in another branch timeline, since Slone is re-recording the first log she sends him the night before he leaves. She interprets this as either Jones making progress or messing everything up. Personally, I believe he's messing everything up, but the next couple lines are insane, so listen closely. She tells him there's a reason why it's always them, over and over again, and that one of these times, they're going to get it right. This is Slone officially recognizing that she knows they've done this whole time traveling thing before, and that they've failed, but her line about it always being them two is interesting. I believe this means that no matter what changes, Slone and Jones reuniting on the Chapter 4 island to use the time machine will always happen. No matter what changes in each of the timelines, that meeting again is a constant. A pivotal moment in time, a moment that needs to happen for everything to continue. The key to the future lies in the past, and the continued existence of everything relies on Jones and Slone finding this key and bringing it back to the present. I imagine it as a sort of checkpoint. No matter how anything happens, no matter what Jones accidentally changes in the past, everything will always lead to Slone and Jones reuniting and using the time machine. The key to the future also seems to imply that there wouldn't be a future without this object, so everything leading up to them trying to obtain this makes complete sense. And with that, log 3 is concluded. Now get your tissues ready because this is log 4. Jones, Slone here. I definitely left this message many times before, so get right to it, huh? This is the first time in countless lifetimes that I don't know what happens next. We're both heading off into the unknown. I guess this is goodbye for this me and that you, but we'll meet again. Reality's not done with us yet. Keep the campfires burning, Jones, wherever and whenever you go. Those final lines are powerful, especially when you realize that this is the final voice log of Donald Mustard's story, right before the new Chief Creative Officer at BIIIG, Charlie Wen, takes over for Chapter 5. Could this be the end to their stories? Well, I don't believe so. Slone says they're heading off into the unknown, which seems to imply that she's not sure when and if they'll be able to get this right, and at what cost it may come with if Jones does finally succeed. But she's sure to mention that reality isn't done with them yet. Their stories aren't finished. While this is certainly a sad ending to the logs, I have faith they'll return. After all, Season 5 appears to be following one of Jones' attempts, and it could very well be the one that succeeds. Now that we've covered every single Slone audio log and what that means for this season's story, it's time to start diving into the island to see what exactly Jones is up to this time. We have tons of leaked map changes that show us that the course of the island's history is going to be taking a major turn, which could end up leading to a bigger disaster than the original Season X ever was. On screen, you can see the 4 updates we're going to receive to the island. As you may have noticed, the Fire King's volcano and jungle, Singularity's Neo locations, and the Scientist's rift zones never appear on the map. This is confusing at first, because aren't we supposed to be reliving the old seasons? Well, yes and no. Jones is here to carry out Slone's plan of accessing a key, whether that be an actual object or a general set of things he needs to put in motion. By doing this, he's already bound to change up the past, but it's a very specific science. He can't change things up too much, or it'll ripple into the future and branch everything off into a new timeline, leaving the previous one to be rewritten, like we discussed earlier in the video. It seems like Jones has changed a lot this time around, since the map changes we see imply the Devourer broke free early, killing the Fire King in the process. If there's no Fire King, there's no volcano. If there's no volcano, there's no base to build the mech. And if there's no mech, there's nothing to grab the 0 point and crack it, leading to the Scientist arriving for Season X. We can see that the Scientist does end up arriving to the island in his meteor, and building his rocket like he did in Season X. But why would he arrive if the 0 point wasn't cracked? Well, we have another issue going on. The cube has changed up its plans in Fortnite OG, and it seems to be using its energy as the cube island to hover over the open vortex in Loot Lake and rip out the 0 point directly. The final stage of this shows the 0 point actually floating right below the cube. This is very bad. The cube is imbued with the Nothing, an evil force that wants complete and utter control over the Omniverse. If the cube can successfully get the 0 point, then it's the end of everything. Obviously, this is a huge problem, so the scientist heads into the loop via the meteor to fix this. So all in all, the scientist arrives the exact same, but just for a different catastrophe. But Jones seems to have plans for him. Throughout the season, he'll be lugging the time machine from Pleasant Park all the way over to Dusky Divot in preparation for the scientist's arrival. Later on in the rocket construction, we can see the time machine strapped to the rocket. This means that Jones and the scientist teamed up somehow, and there's a plan being set in motion. But what is it? Well, we know the time machine is powered by Rift energy, and we know that in the end event, the rockets shoot all across the island through rifts, which would be the perfect way to juice up the time machine for whatever comes next. I think it's entirely possible that Jones is attaching the time machine to the rocket because he did what he needed to do and just needs to get back to the present. But when he arrives, it may not be the same place that he left from. Finally, Hypex on Twitter tweeted that Fortnite is already going to be teasing the Season 5 finale event, using the words Big Bang to describe the ending. In real life, and in the Fortnite universe, the Big Bang was the creation of everything and the 0 point. So could this imply that we're completely starting over? With a lot to look forward to over the coming weeks, this season has insane potential, especially with Chapter 5 right around the corner. If you'd like to see what the Chapter 5 map looks like and what the storyline may be, make sure to go watch my previous video. That's it for today, Reapers. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, subscribe to the channel. Consider using my code TLL TheReaper in the item shop. Until next time, keep it reaping.